Hello, hello, everybody. I am Dr. Nicole Ross, and I am here for our virtual table talk, is what I want to call it. So about a couple of years ago, I had a series that was called Your Business Matters, and I did a couple interviews with just a few business owners because I always feel like your business does matter, and I feel like, hey, we can get on, we can talk business, and just learn more about, what we do. That's what I love. And so tonight I have with me four amazing entrepreneurs. What we say we're gonna have us like a girl talk, just about all of us are all business owners and see how we can help each other, talk the struggles, the challenges, the victories, the joys of being an entrepreneur, and just being able to, have like-minded people in the same room. I know we're not in the same room, but we're virtual, but still just in the same platform. And just maybe hopefully we can say some things that might be able to help you out. So before we get started and go any further, I want everybody to introduce themselves. Let's start with Miss Tanya.
Well, good evening. I'm Tanya Buford. I am the owner and founder of Singles and Couples Pop-Up. And so what I do is create this space for singles and couples to connect, to have more intimate connection. And I do this with, events and activities and things like that. So I'm here, I'm in the Washington, D.C. area. And so I do events here. So that's what I do here.
Nice.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jenelle Knox-Francois, and I am the founder and owner of Let's Ordernize, which is a professional organizing company. And I organize garages, documents, kitchens, pantries, and different special projects that people have. And as we get into the conversation, some of these services I don't offer right now, but it'll make sense in a minute.
Good evening, everyone. I am Tiara Spann, CEO of I.V.A Enterprises, your intellectual vision advisor. Professionally, I am a financial consultant. Been in the financial industry for a little over 13 years now. I love working with people, understanding their financial picture and making it make sense to them. I am now also a self-published author, a financial speaker, and mentor, and I'm so happy to be a part of this panel today.
Is it just me?
That's you.
Hi, everybody. My name is Ty Frazier. I am the owner, operator, or CEO, I guess, of two businesses, Just Fedoras Boutique, where I offer different colored fedoras, accessories, and all types of things like that, purses, handbags. And then I also have a business called Aunti Mama Sweet Spots, where I do catering. Well, I now offer catering. I started as a dessert business, and then through the help of the Urban League and then New Perspective Consulting Services, I now have my food license, so I can start catering officially. So my goal is to eventually have a mobile unit where I can sell my accessories and my desserts and food. I want to be able to leave my full-time job. I'm a case manager full-time. So I'm trying to juggle the two businesses starting up, and then my full-time job as well. So kind of busy, but they kind of help keep me on track. So that's where I am right now.
All right. That's a great thing. That's where you are, but you have come such a long way, Ty. So I'm so proud of you. That's awesome. So again, I'm Dr. Ross. I am the owner and founder of New Perspective Consulting Services. In addition, I am a published author and public speaker, and like I say, mompreneur, as you can see on the show. So I want us to kick off our conversation just by talking about, one, if you can tell how long you've been an entrepreneur and maybe some of the challenges that you faced as an entrepreneur.
I've had my business since 2019, October 2019, and I've had challenges then and I have challenges now, but I would say one of the major ones would be finding other organizers to work with me. And my mindset is always, I don't want to hire just anyone. I want to hire someone with the desire to organize, because it's so tedious. It's so like mind driven. You have to be focused. You can't, I won't say you can't, but it's challenging to try to organize or think of a strategy and organize and do something else on the side. Sometimes we're doing 2 and 3 things at once. It don't really work that way.
That's a skill. That is a skill to organize. Definitely.
Yeah. It don't work that way. Like, oh, I'm gonna, work with this client, and while I'm there, no, you can't do that. You have to be fully focused and fully engaged. And to find people like that is challenging. I've spoken to a few people, and some of them were like, I'm not sure, but I kind of have a desire for it. When I need therapy, I go organize the closet, and you can kind of tell, like, okay, yeah, that's cool, but it's a different focus. You know what I mean? It's not just a real quick thing that you want to do. Like, you have to be so engaged, because people come to me and they're like, I'm gonna throw it all out. If you don't figure it out, it's going in the garbage. And some things are valuable, but they don't have the capacity to deal with it or to want to put it together, and that's fine. But if I can't bring someone on with me that's like the client, I need someone on my level to be able to provide the service that the client needs and execute. And it's been very challenging finding people with that mindset, and let alone want to organize at all, let alone the mindset, but for me, that was one of the greatest challenges, and it's affecting me now. I don't want to jump ahead of you, Nicole, but it's affecting me now with the stage I'm in with my business. So I would say that's one thing for me.
I mean, I think that's a valid challenge. I feel like, with yours being organizing and, making sure they have, like you said, it's mentally, you got to be there, you got to be focused, but I will even just say that when it comes to bringing somebody else on and working for you or working with you, you absolutely want to have like-minded people, no matter what industry you're in.
True.
It's almost,
True.
you have to have people that's going to be like, okay, they're about their business. They're going to take care of what needs to be taken care of. And the way that I see it is, if you're working with me, like, you represent me, you can't make me look bad.
Absolutely.
They have to share the passion.
Exactly.
There you go. Yep.
They have to, and so that I think that's huge. And I feel like, well, I'll stop. What do y'all think? Now, that's a challenge that Jenelle presented. How do we suggest, or what recommendations do we have to overcome something like that?
And might I add, I deal with people's personal things. So trust is another thing, character, integrity. That's a standard in my own life, let alone in my business. I deal with attorneys. I'm seeing people's files. I may or may not know them. I don't know if they know them. What would you do if you did find someone's file that like, it's so much. And I have to be so protective, because these people are trusting me. So I want to add that, the privacy, of people's and things, and confidentiality is great when you talk about organizing.
Yeah. So what do you ladies think?
Well, I think we talked about this before, but I think, like you said, it's hard to find people with the same passion that you have. And then, of course, the trust level. So it's almost like you could get someone that's in college who is capable mentally to adjust to that type of work, the tedious, the fixing, the finding things that work. This goes here, this goes there, which is sometimes difficult, obviously, because that's why people need people like you, because they don't know how to put it together. But I guess, somebody who does work at a law firm, someone who does work in medical billing, filing, things like that, because then they know the privacy issues. They know that, they know how to keep files, keep being able to find things, put things where someone else can find it if they're not there. So I would say somebody that's, I hate to say it, but OCD and wanting things to be in its place. And a lot of people who do that type of work are, law clerks, medical billing assistants, people who run offices like doctor's offices, lawyer offices, that may want to do something like that for a side hustle, and understand the confidentiality, the trust, and then the organization. So that would be my recommendation.
That's a good idea.
That's really good.
Really good idea.
Yeah, just to piggyback off of that, I was going to say something similar with my experience with working with young adults, you know, you have the opportunity to groom them, right? So
Yeah.
in some sense, we're a little bit vain, you know what I mean? And we don't know, you know, what if I found a trust? You know, I know what a trust is, but what if I found a trust and I didn't know what it is, or whether or not it was confidential? And if you teach me that, now I've gained a skill from you, was
So
one
true.
thing. But then I also respect the other side of it, where there's that community that is retired and like to stay busy. You know what I mean? That like organizing and keeping things up. That's another community. You know, maybe they can't necessarily go back to work because it's hard for that community to go back to work. Corporations are not hiring them, you know, because corporations know they're just there for a benefit or something to that extent. They're not trying to save because they've already been retired. But working with a dynamic company like yours, it's like, okay, great. I got a way to spend my time. I'm a retired, like you said, legal clerk. Oh, I know how these go.
Retired,
That's really good.
Yeah.
So that's another suggestion. And an intake form, right? Having that on your intake form, you know, kind of, have you had the opportunity to work with confidential information? How do you feel about that? What did you do in some type of situation where you were dealing with personal items? And, you know, kind of have them spell out to you that they are like-minded in an intake form.
I understand. That's really good.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I was gonna say retirees and college interns. They are kind of removed from the general population, so it'd be like a less likely chance that they may know people or, you know, have some type of reason why information would be compromised.
Thank you. That's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are some other challenges, ladies, that we have to deal with, you know, in entrepreneurship?
What are the challenges?
For me, it was finding clientele. Actually, money is a very sensitive situation to discuss. You know, it's a very intimate situation. It's a very private situation, and I've had the pleasure of planning everything from having babies to your final expenses in life, which I call your last love letter to your family. That's not something that's easy to talk about. We don't want to have that conversation. So finding the right clientele that matches what it is that our company or organization does has been one of the biggest challenges for me.
Wow.
So what do y'all say to that? That's definitely a situation as a consultant. I can second that, you know, not only finding clientele, but the right clientele, because I don't work with just anybody. So, you know, making sure you can, you know, connect, because I feel like what we're doing, I can speak for myself. This is a part of my purpose. This is a part of why God put me here on this earth, because of my passion, because of the way that it just comes to me. I know that this is a part of what I'm supposed to be doing. But that being said, is like it only works if it's with the right people.
Yeah.
So what do we say for that? That's a challenge. How do we overcome that challenge of getting those right clients? And because every single one of us on here, we need clients to work with us.
Absolutely.
True.
Yeah. That's hard because you're right, and especially culturally, we haven't grown up with wealth mindset.
Right.
And so, you know, a lot of times we don't want people to know, yeah, I spend too much money on this, and yeah, I do this, and you know, and they don't think of long term. Sometimes I think partnering with someone with a like-minded business helps you both to kind of help each other. Like a life, do you do life insurance?
Yes.
Okay, so I was going to say hook up with like a life insurance agent, but you do life insurance. That's tough though, because that's, you know, I was introduced to selling life insurance because the person thought I had the personality for that, which I do, but it's hard to sell that to us. And I mean, and I hate to say us, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Absolutely. In our community.
Right, our community. So maybe your community, the community that you may want to work with may not be the community that you need to do for your business. So maybe you need to be looking at other communities that understand money and wealth and how it plays a bigger part in your life, even in death. So sometimes, because I find that with my business, you know, I have pockets, I have communities, many communities. And so what will work for this community won't work for the other. So a lot of times you can do referrals, you can talk to your family, your friends, or what have you, but culturally, that's a difficult thing for us to get over. Like I get so frustrated when I hear someone pass away and you had to do a GoFundMe page. I mean, GoFundMe.
Right.
Why can't we just figure that part?
Yeah.
Like, you know, I'm not asking you to go see a financial advisor and lay out your entire 401k, but at least have some sort of insurance that if something happens to you, your family's not scraping to just put you in the ground. So it's a difficult thing. So maybe it's your mindset is that finding your clients that don't look like you.
That's good.
Yeah. I mean, that and the thing that, as Tanya was talking, the one thing to me that came to mind was education. So maybe as you're trying to gain clientele, you have to educate the people and explain to them why they need your services, why what you provide is important. You know, maybe more speaking engagements for you would be beneficial so that you can talk about the importance of finances and planning and insurance and, you know, talk about those things. And then as you talk, more people are going to see, one, that you're the expert in that field, that you know what you're talking about, and two, I need to connect with her so I can get my stuff together.
And don't put financial wealth when you're doing the speaking. Ask a question that somebody would want to know the answer to. So in other words, are you tired of living paycheck to paycheck?
You got to find a pain point.
No, yeah, you find the pain point and you focus on that. And then when you get them in the room, you're still never talking about financial planning. Because I think we have trigger words.
Yeah.
So we hear financial planning, we run. We hear life insurance, we run. We hear plan your money, we run. So maybe it's a delivery in words and how you put it together to get people interested.
Yeah,
I like that.
So once you get them in the room, give them little nibbles and you know, hey, guess what? If you got $20, you spend that on a drink. Hey, I can get you some life insurance. So it's all about the delivery. It's like the bait switch. But like you say, it's the pain point. What's your pain point?
I like it.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
And then another thing that I would say too, is community partnerships, you know, and seeing, you know, in the community where their organizations might be, you know, on a grander scale, and how can you connect with that organization to then have them utilize your services? You know, that's another thing that could potentially be beneficial for you as well.
Yeah, that's true. Even if you got linked up to some small businesses that may have 4 or 5, you know, employees, and you start there and just build your repertoire that way, then you can just say, hey, I'm the, you know, financial advisor for Joe's Carpet. You know, I can come in and help you and assist you and just negotiate some sort of monthly rate and, you know, and just be available. Just like they do when you sign up, when you start a new job, you have.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, orientation.
You have a business
like the onboarding. Yeah.
You talk about what you need. So you can say, hey, I can provide even more in-depth services to help you. Because I know a lot of times, just like with my young daughter, she didn't know what to do with her 401. She had no idea. So even if you said, listen, you know, you can hire me and I can help you manage where you should put your money. Right. And you just get paid from the company and not necessarily you can still try to sell your product, but that's another. I think what I have found in my process is you have to be open to all roads, because sometimes when we have passions we're trying to figure out what's that road that God wants us on, or what's passion. So you have to try different avenues until you get the right street. And they all kind of meet, but at the same time, how can you still do your passion and make money and provide that service? So it may not be as black and white as I'm a wealth manager. It might be, hey, I assist businesses help their, clients pick better insurance or whatever. That gets you in the door, and then that's how you build your, because then if they work for the company, you gave them great advice. Oh, can you come talk to my cousin? Can you talk
I got a referral.
Right. So that's how you build your, you manage your business. But that's how I've been. You just have to be open, pivot, open, pivot, open, pivot.
Yeah. And speaking of pivot, one thing that I'm looking into is with my business pivoting. And I'm saying this to share with you also in terms of giving courses, online classes, online webinars, things like that, where people can just get kind of, like she said, the bait. And then when you reel them in, then you get them in person and, so on and so forth. So if you've not implemented something like a webinar or things like that, to where people, like a lot of people have gotten me with the free whatever, and you be like, man, okay. Because they give you enough information to where you're like, I need this, and you want to do it because there's a, some type of trust factor that has been built just from the fact of you felt like it was good, that I was good enough for you to offer what you have for free, which I'm sure you probably have, but on a different platform probably now, so where you can reach different audiences and it won't be limited to one or two audiences, and people will see you. I don't know where these people come from on Facebook. And I'm like, yes. And I'll sign up, some kind of women empowerment or this and that. And I'm like, you know what? And it really helps me. And that one thing may help me enough, but I'll remember them if I want to go further, or I want to go to the next level, or I've accomplished, what they taught me. And I'm like, man, that free webinar, I will invest, so maybe that's another route you can take.
Yep. First 30 minutes free, sign up. I learned that you do, some top 10 key, pick a certain piece of wealth management and say, hey,
so broad.
Here's top 5 things you should do when you start a new job. Boom, 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 boom. Or join me in my webinar, So you got to kind of bait them. Yeah. So that was good though.
That was real good. I like all of those. And I'm smiling because have I not told you that you need to do an e-course, a webinar? I've been saying that.
Wow.
And
she really has, you guys. She's been coaching me about it, and I planned on it this year, and I honestly have only had my voice back for like maybe a week. So I lost my voice at the top of the year when I planned on releasing.
I remember
that. So that's kind of been my whole hold up. You know what I mean? And that's another challenge, when you plan on doing something, you have your projected date, you're trying to pivot it, and then life happens, right? Exactly. And you're still trying to dribble the ball, but you might have lost your rhythm, and it's like, I see the goal, but I see the goal.
Yes.
That's where I feel like I am with things. Like I see it, I'm coming towards it, but I'm not physically able to make that slam dunk,
Right.
Yeah. So now I got to go back to reconditioning and retraining, reorganizing, and getting myself back together so that I can go up there and slam dunk it when I'm ready to.
Yes.
But I love those suggestions. Those were great.
Yeah, and you mentioned losing your voice, and I feel like that's something too that we have to talk about when we talk about challenges, because as an entrepreneur, especially when you're first starting out, you kind of wear many hats, you do many things. And so what happened?
All of them. All of them.
Exactly. And so what happens when life happens? What happens when, you get sick, or your child gets sick, or, a family member passes away, or anything like that? It's like, we have to make sure that, one, you, and I'm gonna keep using you as the example just for now, but when you lost your voice, it's like, okay, give yourself time to heal. I always say that it's okay. It's all right. Life goes on. You'll be fine. But when you get ready and when you get better and you're healed, I need you back in the game.
Mhm.
Because so easy for us once we have that time of, you know, life happening, and now we got a whole new routine. Now our mind has been on something else, and it's like, oh my gosh, I haven't sold a book in, you know, 2 months. Oh my gosh, I haven't done. So now we got to make sure we recondition ourselves to get back with it. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
yep, you paused for a minute. Now let's get it back together.
Yeah.
You have to be able to do that. Y'all don't know how many people that I've spoken with that have had, you know, businesses going, then something happened. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, I'll get to it.
Yeah.
This happened. I'll get back to it. And I'm like, you know, do you really want to do this or do you not?
Well, that's why the passion has to be there, because
It has to be there.
you know, I know from Dr. Ross knows all about my struggle, but a lot of times if it's a passion and you've taken that pause button, it's going to eat at you. I mean, this is my personal experience. It's like I wake up thinking about it, go to bed thinking about it, dream. You know, it just be like, you know, just every single day I'm thinking about it and I'm coming up with ideas and I'm putting things on paper. I got little post-it notes here. I got this, because then you know that's your purpose and that's your passion, because you just can't stop thinking about it. Even when you're not doing it, you just can't stop thinking about it. And so a lot of times I hear people say they're going to start businesses, and that's the reason why those businesses, you know, they may be successful for a while and then it kind of floats away, is because they didn't really have the passion in what they were doing.
Right.
They were just trying to make money.
Right.
And what I have learned in entrepreneurship is you shouldn't be like working for money. You should be working towards being free to do what you want to do, right? Being free to do that passion, and then the money comes. Because if we're chasing the money, it's never going to be enough. It's never going to be, you know, you're just constantly So
Come on.
you have to be looking at the purpose and the plan, where you want to see yourself, manifest yourself there in order to, you know, to be fulfilled, and then the money will come. So I think that's one of the hardest things with entrepreneurship in a whole, because, you know, everything you do is money generated because you're spending money. But like for me, I'm spending money, but there's no revenue coming in on a consistent.
Make it. Yeah.
So, but I have to understand the vision and build the brand. And once that brand is being built and people know and they're aware that you're there, the money will come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That, man, you just hit it for real, because I was like, y'all don't even know. I can be taking a shower and God will just give me ideas for people's businesses. Because I talk to so many people and I have so many just ideas that just come into my mind. And I'm like, I'm supposed to be able to turn this off and I can't never turn it off. I'm always thinking about new ways and new ideas. And oh my gosh, okay, when I talk to Jenelle, I'm gonna make sure I tell her this. And when I talk to Ty, she need to make sure she do it. I'm constantly thinking about things of ways to kind of help improve. So that's how I know, even when you talk about that passion that is there, you know, and
turn it off.
I can't turn it off. But I think for me, I have the passion so much so for everybody else's business, but I gotta make sure that I'm doing that for myself.
It's the balance.
It's the balance, right? Because I'm like, I come up with all these grand ideas and it almost like, it gets to the point to where I'm like overwhelmed. And then I'm like, well, wait. I got to make sure I'm doing, making sure, new perspective. I'm like, making sure new perspective is on point, making sure that everything, you know, these ideas that I'm giving y'all, these e-courses and these books and all, I got to make sure I'm doing that stuff too. That's important, you know?
I think for you is that you need to have a calendar and actually time yourself every day. This is how many hours I'm going to spend on these particular businesses, and then this is the hours I'm going to spend on mine.
Yeah.
Because you're so passionate and it's always coming, it's okay to write it down or have some sort of systematic way where you're documenting those ideas. But actually mapping out, there's 40 hours in a week and 25 of those hours I'm spending on my own business, and then the rest I'm spending on them. And then that way you're still moving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you
Making
look
progress.
up and it's been a whole week and you haven't done anything for your business.
Yep. And that has happened to me so many times.
So now you have to build that into your everyday, right?
Yeah.
So that may be just getting on your calendar and saying, okay, Tuesday between 2 and 5, or between 2 and 4, or 2 or whatever, I'm going to spend at least an hour in the morning and an hour in the afternoon just on my business. And then put a timer on, and when the timer goes off, move on to the next thing.
Shift gears. Yeah, that's good.
You have to be that way, because otherwise the day will get away from you and you're like,
yeah,
dang, I didn't do this and I didn't do that. And I think what also helps me too is I'm realistic with the goals. And I'm sorry if I'm talking too much. Please tell me if I'm giving too much gym and not giving y'all time to shine and talk.
You're fine.
You're giving great ideas.
Just give me a flag or something. Say, okay, Tanya. But I find that when I write down the goal for the week, right, I'm realistic. And then I write the goals, and then I say, by Friday, I want to be able to check at least 2 or 3 on this list. And because I think a lot of times, and I don't know if this is how you guys feel, as an entrepreneur, if you're doing a whole lot of things, it's busy work, but is it pushing you closer to your goal?
Come on now.
Are you being productive?
Yeah, I was going to say productivity over busy.
Yes.
So then when you find out after a week that you're just running in circles and nothing's getting done, then you have to be very intentional. Okay, on Sunday afternoon, I'm going to sit down and write my goals for next week. And I want to execute those goals, so by next Sunday, I can check them off.
Yeah.
Right. And that way you're productive in your busyness. You're not just busy.
Absolutely. Yeah.
True.
I like it. I like that a lot. And then shifting gears a little bit. So we talk about some of the challenges, but what about some of the victories? What about some of the rewards, the successes in having your own business? What do you all think about that?
I don't even know where to start. I think about the impact, you know what I mean? Like you said, you know, when you see your classmate pass away and there's a GoFundMe page, but you know that you at least made the effort to reach out to that person to give them the door of opportunity. I know my thing, it was when I decided, okay, God, I'm gonna step into this with faith with you and follow the purpose that you have on my life. I was like, okay, tell me who. Send me your people. And then when I found myself, that for me is not a number, it's the most rewarding part, is really being able to connect with his people, the people that he sent to me. That's been my biggest success, and just being faithful in that and walking into that. I had a goal at first that was a number, but then it changed when I started my prayer differently about my business. I was just like, okay, you send me who you want me to bless. You gave me this knowledge, this wisdom. Now you send me the people. And every time I think, like you were saying earlier, like, okay, this is it, I'm done, he sends somebody else, and then he sends somebody else, and then he sends somebody else. And I said, God, I said yesterday I was done. And then he sends somebody else. So for me, it changed from a number. It's not about a number anymore. It's about really the impact on lives, families, children's households. You know, I always said that I always lose my voice every year this time of year. And I said, if I ever get to the day that I can't speak again, did I write enough books? Did I put enough of the literature, the wealth literature out there for the children to grasp, right? So if I'm planting this seed and they got to pull from this tree in the future, did I put enough seeds out there? You know, because that could happen too, you know, when we were talking about the reality of life happening, right? And you kind of lose your momentum, but what are you still doing? Are you still marketing? Are you still promoting a book? Did you put the webinar out there? Did you put it together? Did you email the school and ask them, hey, can I send you 10 books just to put on your shelves? So for me, I measure success now by the impact of I guess you can measure that by how many people you're touching, but it's more about impact. It is the
Absolutely.
successful reward for me.
I agree wholeheartedly. I mean, for me, it's about not just impact, it's about, you know, the flexibility. It's about, you know, the control. I like being able to control my schedule. I like being able to say, yeah, I can do it then, or no, I got something else to do, or, you know, I like not having a 9 to 5. I like having that flexibility, because for me, what I was kind of forced into entrepreneurship. And I say that because my husband is former military. We've lived all over the world. So when we're living in Germany, okay, for 3 years, I don't have the opportunity to work. I don't have a green card. We're over there. Outside of me trying to go work, you know, we were at one of the smallest installations there. It's not even like we were at a big one. So outside of me trying to go work on post, I couldn't work anywhere. But we still need money. We still got to live. We still got to pay the bills. I'm like, okay, what can I do to have income coming in? You know, what can I do? And so that kind of just put me in it. You know, I wrote my first book over there, and then it put me in it. And so now I'm getting different things of streams of revenue coming from that. And then I have my children. And I said, you know what? I need to be present in my children's lives. I need to make sure that, you know, if I drop them off at school and if they get sick 3 hours later, that I can go pick them up from school without having to worry about calling my boss or say anything to my employer. Like, no, I need to be able to do that. That was more important to me. So even if that meant, you know, me not only being an entrepreneur, because obviously when you first start, clearly you're not making too much money, but it was enough for me to say my time with my children is priceless. Being present for them. So that is a huge victory in my eyes, is being able to say as a mompreneur, yep, mommy got a business, but y'all come first. What do you need? I'm here. Are y'all good? As long as y'all are good, then I can do my thing over here to make sure we're good. So that's something that, you know, and every, you know, if you're not a mom, I'm not saying that that can't be what motivates you, but for me, that's what motivated me.
Right.
Find that thing that motivates you. Find that thing that's like, okay, I need to pursue entrepreneurship because of X, Y, and Z. And whatever your thing is, then let that be what keeps you on path. So when you do what we just talked about, when life happens, that we can make sure we getting back on track, because we already got that thing that's pushing us and motivating us.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's so important. What other victories, what other wins do we say about entrepreneurship?
I would say the feedback that you get from your clients, like surprisingly, and sometimes I am surprised when some clients have adopted a new way of doing things, or instead of being junky, you know, they're more mindful. Okay, let me not do that, or let me not make that pile over there. And to hear those things from them really, really encourages me, because it's a lot of work organizing. And one thing I tell my clients, I'm like, you're making an investment. This is money you're spending, and something that, you know, help you to think better and to help you function better. You should really care about that. Like, you should take on, okay, how do I keep this on? Because she can't be here every day, all day to keep my life straight. So when I hear them give me the feedback of, oh, I don't do that anymore, or it bothers me when, you know, there's piles and there's junk, you know, it really does bring joy to me, because it means that I made an impact to where what I've done for them has brought influence to where they're like, hey, I don't want to live like that anymore. Now, I'm not saying they're totally out of it and totally, you know, OCD or anything like that, but they're not where they were. So where even the consciousness of not being junky, or not, you know, having piles here and there, and making sure if I don't want it, really just toss it and not just put it in the garage, like that in and of itself is such a hurdle for a lot of people. And to not have that, you know, to have that new mindset, it's like, wow, okay, so some people don't just see it as I'm here to do a job and that's it. You know, they're like, no, you made an impact. Like, I don't do that anymore. It bothers me when I leave stuff on the counter. You know, you know, you'll be proud of me. You know, they say things like that, and I'm like, wow, it does my heart good to know that I left some kind of impact on you if you never see me again. You know what I mean? So for me, that's a big joy. That's a huge joy.
Definitely.
Because I know when you don't want to do something and you're not organized, you don't, it does something else to your esteem or to your, you know, your mental, as opposed to encouraging you. So when you hear that, I'm like, oh man, that's so cool. Because when I met you, that wasn't the conversation, you know what I mean?
Right there.
So to hear that at the end of the job or whatever the case is so encouraging to my heart. It really is.
I agree. I do agree. Ty, what are some victories and successes that you've had with your businesses?
I was sitting here trying to think of how to, I have so many things going around in my head. Like, I think it sounds like, you know, everybody has so much experience. I'm really kind of like being a student tonight and like gleaning off of a lot of the experiences that you all have had and are having. I've only had my businesses, I started them both only a year ago. So, you know, I've been cooking my whole life, my adult life, and, you know, I've been into fashion. So both of my businesses, I started from a passion that I had for fashion and a passion that I had for looking good, helping other people to look good, helping other people to feel good about themselves. The impact that it has on my customers on both sides, like, first of all, giving someone a compliment or telling them they look nice, or, you know, helping people accessorize, doing consultations like for weddings and things like that. It helps because people say, you know, they're like, oh, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have thought this, or nobody ever told me that I look nice in purple, or nobody ever told me that, you know, this or that. So it's like the impact that it has on people. I love people and I love to make people feel good. It's like the world that we live in now, it's almost awkward to compliment people because a lot of times people don't even know how to take a compliment. So, you know, sometimes I'm in a store and I'm like, oh, I love your hair. And they're like, thank you. Like, or you're so pretty, you know, you have pretty eyes, and people are, I'm just like, I know that's not the norm these days, but it's so warming to my heart when I know that I've helped somebody. And then even from like my food, my desserts, people tell me, like, I love it when they say, oh, my grandma used to make banana pudding like this, or my auntie used to cook pound cake like this, and I haven't had it since she died. And now they're my regular customers, and they send people and they make Facebook posts and send me all types of things that I can make commercials and videos with. It's just like the feedback it's almost like when you're an empath, like I'm an empath, so I feed off of other people's energy and their feelings. And when I make somebody else's day, it makes my day. And so the triumphs and victories I've had, besides even just turning my passion from just hobbies to businesses, is not only did it help me to figure out my purpose in life, because I know that I was here for a reason. Because you can be good at so many things, but that doesn't mean that's what your purpose is. So there's like so many things. People are always like, you're such a jack of all trades. You can do hair, you can do this, you can do that, but everything is not your purpose. So I feel like what I do for both of my businesses, even though they're like on both sides of the spectrum, I'm still impacting people's lives. So my challenge right now, because I didn't speak up earlier, I'm just so busy like listening to everything y'all saying, because even though everybody does something different than me, I got nuggets from everybody. So thank y'all all for sharing everything too. But challenge I have right now is transitioning from, like Dr. Ross said, being able to work for myself full-time. My daughter is 13. She pretty much manages, like, we do a lot of pop-up shops and like events where we cater food and stuff. I mean, I was doing it unofficially even before I got my license, but my daughter, she kind of manages everything. Like, she knows how to take orders, she knows how to take payments. She knows, like, she's getting around to doing the talking. I kind of do most of the talking, but it's like the legacy that I see that's coming from it. It's like, man, when I get up in the morning, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have this big event I have to do tomorrow, and I really don't feel like, but then she's like, Mama, we got a big job to do tomorrow, right? And she's all excited. So I'm like, oh my gosh, it just clicks, like, oh yeah, I'm doing it for her, because when she turns 18, she's 13 now, she can take it over. She could take one of either one, because she's been with me so much that she's learned the business on both sides. And so I pay her so she understands how to save money. She has an account, she deposits part of her money, she spends some of it. She has like a little check and balance book. So I'm like, it's like a double fold because we're working towards generational wealth, but I'm also teaching her like things that I didn't learn at her age. My mom didn't teach me a lot of things about being a woman, an adult with bills and credit and all that stuff, you know, because she was adopted, and that's a whole nother story. You know, they can't teach you what they didn't know or didn't learn. So I take that, instead of saying, well, I got an excuse not to do the same for my daughter, I'm like, no, we're going to learn this stuff now. When we go to the bank, I want you to take your own deposit slip. You go up, you put your money in there. You know, you made $40 today. So let's take 15 of that and put it in your, you know, just teaching her little things. So that's one of the victories I've had, is teaching my daughter things, letting her see me push through so many things. Because when you're one person, like what you said, trust, hiring people, getting people you can trust to help you, because they have to be intimate in your life and your finances and your home. Like, so, you know, it's hard. So it's like, I just have myself and my daughter. And so for 8 to 9 hours a day, Monday through Friday, I'm a case manager. That's a very stressful job. And then when I get off from that, then I have to switch hats to the business. And so what I've learned from both Tiara and Dr. Ross is, even if it's 30 minutes a day, take 30 minutes a day and say, make a Facebook post or write down something to do with your business. Like, do something with your business so that you can feel like you accomplished something that day, or 2 days a week, or 3 days a week. So I'm just learning. Like, it's a learning process, but my goal is to be full-time entrepreneur by age 50. I just turned 43 yesterday. So I think I'm pretty sure I can do it, but it takes a lot of discipline with organizing.
Sure. Of course you can.
Right. Listen, my advice to you is don't put yourself on those strenuous timeline, because
that's true.
He's gonna bless you the way He's gonna bless you.
Right.
And it might be before 50.
Talking
And
about,
I know, because
it might be the end of this year.
I know. Well, that's my goal.
To
be honest, my goal is the end of 2022, because it was 2021, but it just didn't happen because life happened so many times for me with COVID and all crazy family stuff. But I really would like for it to be before the end of this year. And I know I can do it because I've seen what I can make between the two businesses per week. But then you got to sit down with somebody to help, you know, map it out. Because that's my thing, was lack of knowledge, lack of resources, lack of funding. And so I'm just literally learning from point A. I'm still like in the first few letters of the alphabet. So I've so much to still learn. So I'm like consulting, I'm in part of all types of groups and stuff, trying to just get little nuggets here and there. But I feel like I'm on the right track, but I just want to make the transition smooth. Like, of course you need finances to do it, but also the mindset, because, you know, juggling between the two businesses, and then, well, one is online. So that takes a lot off of me, being able to have the website, like, oh, you want to buy this, buy that, you can go to the website. I'm trying to work on getting the website for the second one. So that'll also take some stress off of me. But it's just a transition. So that's kind of my challenge too. So I'm just trying to figure out how to.
I tell you what though, like, I'm gonna share a testimony, like just one small.
I know it's like so much. I don't know where to start.
Yeah, you didn't share this part, but when I first started working with Ty, and literally she just had the idea. She didn't have the business or anything established yet.
Right.
She was working a part-time job.
Yeah.
Ty has made enough money to where she no longer has to work her part-time job.
Right.
That is a huge success. That is a huge.
I forgot about that.
Yes. Awesome. I'm like, let's remember that, because
that's true.
You talk about trying to get to that space financially,
that's true.
Where that's so important for us. We can't neglect that too. We're like, oh, it's not about the money, but it is. You know, it's not, but it is.
I was doing Uber, I was doing DoorDash, and I was working at Publix part-time in addition to my full-time. And I let all of those go.
But I also think that's also as Black women. Okay, that's who we are. So I think a lot of times we don't take a minute and celebrate the little victories.
Yes.
Because it's always, I gotta. Why you gotta, you already did.
You're missing everything you've done.
But you haven't even acknowledged the dids, because you still gotta.
Wow.
Right.
So give
That's
yourself
true.
grace, because I'm learning this. Nothing is overnight. Okay. And when it's time, when that floodgate opens, it's going to open.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
when that's going to happen. So I always tell my kids, be ready so you don't have to get ready.
Exactly.
So like you say, posting every day,
Mhm.
set up, go into Canva and create your stuff on Sunday
Yep.
afternoon and have that stuff automatically post.
Yep.
There are so many things you could do to get, things to be moving while you're still trying to gotta get right.
Right.
But give yourself grace, because that's huge.
Tiara
That's
says that to me all the time. Give yourself grace. Yep.
This is what I told, and so I coach a lot of women, haven't lately, but I used to coach a lot of women, and I would always say, get a jar, little strips of paper, and every day write down your win.
Okay.
Whatever happened that day that was great, you got to order, boom, this happened, that happened. You got to review what's beautiful, write it down, stick it in the jar. And at the end of the year, I want you to sit down, even if it's New Year's Eve, right? Read those wins.
Nice.
And you will see how impactful you were.
Wow.
We have the mindset of never being good enough.
Right.
Wow.
This, we got to do this, we got to do that. You got to raise kids, you got to raise the business, you got to go to work, you got to pay the bills. And we miss the moments. We're never present in the win.
True.
Right? So I have learned, because I'm a little bit older, I call seasoned. And I haven't had my business that long either. So a lot of the nuggets that you're getting is life nuggets. You incorporate that into your business. So what I would say for you is breathe. Breathe.
Yeah.
Because we're doing this
Constantly.
right? And we're never taking in the blessing or the win at the moment. And I find that that's what I've been working on in this season.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's really good. The same way that you're celebrating yourself right now, your birthday is like, have that celebration. And even Tanya was like, do it at the end of the year. I would even say,
you could do quarterly.
That's what I was going to say. If it's every
Quarterly?
3 months,
that's
you
good.
got to do every 3 months where you going in that jar and you saying, oh my gosh, I've accomplished
I did this. I did that. It's true. It's true that you say that, because my mom, when I talk to my mom, she lives in West Palm Beach and I live in like the St. Pete area. She always says, why didn't you tell me that? It can be like when I got my food manager's license, I'm talking to her about all this other stuff. Oh, I'm taking business classes. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And then my daughter or somebody was like, did you tell her you got your business license, like the big license? I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot. Oh yeah, I got my business license. Then I go right back to what I was talking about. She like, wait a minute.
Time out.
You didn't tell me that you studied, you passed the test. Like I had so much anxiety. It was like a big moment leading up to it because I had anxiety, I had stress. I'm like, I've been out of school for so long, blah, blah, blah. But then when I accomplished it on the first try and did so well, I didn't stop to be like, celebrate this moment right now. I was already on to the next thing. Okay, I got my food license. Now I got to start doing this. I got to do this. I got to do that. So it's like, she's so right.
For you, then don't wait. What I need
you to get to I need to do it quarterly.
No, I want you to go even further.
Weekly.
I want you to get some Post-it notes.
Okay.
And every day, when you get a win, you write on that Post-it note and you slam it somewhere. Refrigerator, front door, car, closet, I don't care. Just slam it there so they can remind you that you've done something and you don't gotta, you got it. Okay. And then secondly, if we don't celebrate the little wins,
I'd be grateful, but I don't know. Like you said, I think it's just my mindset, because I celebrate it like I'm always thanking God, like, thank you, God. I'm like, yes, I think I did a dance in the house. You would have thought I had a choir or organ or keyboard and all that in my house, but I was just, but my mind, it just started leaving me. It was just like, oh, now you got that. Now you got to work on this. Now you got that. I'm like, no,
the passion is good. I just want you to take.
But I do need to be present in that moment.
Present in the win. You'd have to be, because then what you'll develop is nothing is ever celebrated
Right.
So you gotta
For me, right,
yeah.
right.
So then you're never fulfilled. So you're just
Right.
gonna keep
Right?
right.
Wanting more. Yep, yep.
So
Yep.
you gotta celebrate.
How long have you been a social worker?
For 3 years. Like I went to college to be a teacher, but I lived in New York, and so the whole dynamic of teaching and all education is so different up north. So when I got to Florida, I did some student teaching a couple of places, and I don't really agree with a lot of things with the Florida school system. So I felt like social work was kind of like the next in line to still help families and stuff and still feel fulfilled in that way. So, but I've been doing that for 3 years.
Yeah, I asked because, at least you have the mindset of not wanting to get stuck there.
Right.
Because sometimes people get those kind of jobs, they're like, oh, I got to hold on to it. I can't let it go. So
Yeah.
the mere fact that you're like, I'm even going to start my businesses in the midst of,
Yes.
You're like, this is not my end all be all. And
No.
sometimes as Black people, we get those certain
It's
jobs.
true.
And we
You
don't
get
want to go.
because of the benefits and stuff. Yeah, no.
You're comfortable.
I want to be uncomfortable. And I stay,
Yeah,
I try
good.
to keep that mindset like this is not it. This is just a
It's not
means right now.
fulfilling.
It's the means, it supports my bills and stuff. But see, that's the flip side is I feel like sometimes I lose my way as an entrepreneur because I have that to fall back on. All my bills are paid with my job money. You know what I'm saying? So my business money is just that. I use it to buy stuff, pay overhead, restock on stuff. So it's like, I got a pop-up shop this weekend that I could make $600, but if I decide to cancel it, I can still pay my rent. You know what I'm saying?
Living.
Versus
Exactly.
that hunger, because it, like Dr. Ross always tell me, if that's all you had, you would be on top of everything all the time because
Seriously.
I got rent, I got car payment, I got this coming up, that. So that's why I'm saying it's like I'm stuck because while my businesses are like right on the top of my brain, I live, breathe, think it all the time. And I do something with both of my businesses every single day, but it's not that hunger because I know I still got something to fall back on. So it's like I'm stuck in the gray area.
Well, you're not stuck.
Not stuck, but it's like if I had funding or something where I know I could live for like 6 months, I could just give my 2 weeks and then just go full force with the business. I know.
Live on your business money and bank your checks and then quit.
Try it the opposite way.
Yeah. There you go.
That's a good idea.
That is a good idea.
I've never thought of that. Start paying your bills that you live on. Pay your light bill with that money you earn from your business.
Pay the bills with that business money.
You use the internet anyways for your business. You need to pay that bill.
Work, just bank it. Bank.
That's true.
Bank. So that you are living on your business.
Then I wouldn't know if I could survive it. I can even set it up and do like, okay, for this 3 months, I'm gonna just live off of business funds only. That's good.
That's
because to be honest, my landlord, they know that my landlord sold the house, and it's a long story behind all of that, but basically my rent increased $500 in November. Wow. And so basically I've been paying the extra $500 from money I make from the business, but not the whole thing. So I can do that where I set it up and say like from April to June, I'm just going to see if I can live.
I'm sure it'll make bosses talk to you. Just write down what your bills are.
Right.
You have to make a month.
Right.
Your bills.
Yeah.
And then look at your business and say, do I make that much money now?
Right.
And I can pay these bills. And if you say, okay, I'm 500 short, what do I need to add? An extra
so that I can make that money.
Job, an extra whatever that will offset that, and then live off of that.
Right.
And then quit your job.
Because when you're in corporate America, they limit your overtime. When you're an entrepreneur, there is no limitation. You can make whatever you choose to make. You have two businesses, they can choose it. But in corporate America, they're gonna tell you work overtime and
you're working your 40 hours and that's it. Yeah.
And honey, and if you and so this is what I want to get people, stop being fearful. So if it don't work, you go back to work.
Come on.
Right.
You can always put in another application. That's what I say. Always.
That's true.
They're
That's
always
true.
looking for people to work for, especially now.
That's true. Anybody can
Especially
work.
now.
Yeah. Degree, no degree. I know you can.
We have to stop this mindset of, I'm going to fail, or what if? What if?
It's just I'm an overthinker.
It's a job. It's not
yeah.
that serious. It's not the end of the world, and you're never going to lack, no matter what it is.
Right. That's right. That's right.
So,
that's
okay, don't worry about that. Just be like,
Right.
Lord, this is the passion you gave me, and I'm speaking from experience.
Right.
And say, hey, this you gave me this. You gonna bless it, so I'm gonna keep doing what I need to do. And if it falls through and you gotta go back to work, okay, go back to work.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
You
real.
can get another job. You can get another job.
It's not that serious.
That's true.
Absolutely.
So true.
Absolutely. You can always get another job. I
always
definitely
get another job. You don't and so sometimes the experience is what it is. You need the experience.
Yeah.
You can't keep limiting yourself. Well, I don't know. I'm just do it. Like Nike say, do it.
You'll never know until you do it. Right.
You won't. And you don't want to live your life in regret. You never want to say,
because I know I
coulda, shoulda.
I know I can sustain. Like I've seen what I can make when I really went full force. And I'm like, I can make more than I make on my job, so, but then it's like, yeah, but there's the but, I'm an overthinker. So I always talk.
No, it's okay. It's an entrepreneur. I know we never got on there. I don't know how long we got on this, but we never talked about mindset.
I talked myself out of a lot of things.
Mindset is huge, and it's all about positive. And so, and I know I've given up a million times. I'm not doing this no more. And then it just needles at me every day. And then something drops in my lap. I'm like, okay, let me hit the reset. So don't be afraid to keep hitting the reset.
Okay.
Just okay. I'm and I think I had to learn just live in it. Like if you're in this little funk and it's take a break. Get right back to it.
Get back in it, and I think too, even with mindset, because as a business coach, I genuinely love my clients that I work with. And so if I'm getting on there and if it's something going on with you, we're not talking business. We talking about whatever you got going on.
That's
true. I can help you, if I can pray for you, whatever I can do to help you in that moment, then that's what we're going to do. But true. Like she just said, after we get through that, now let's get back in the game and let's get our together. That's what you have to understand, because even when we talk about, we see, these other entrepreneurs out there who, guess what? They're making millions, but what got them there? I lost my job. 6 months later, I made $1 million.
Yeah.
They have no choice.
True.
They had no choice. When you have to pay bills, when you have little mouths that need to be fed, you're gonna go out.
It change your mindset.
It changes your mindset. And so until, and I would even go as deep as saying in our community, in the African-American community, because we are taught, you go to school, you get a job,
go to college, you go work.
You work for 40 years and then you retire and you live off.
And then you die.
And then you die.
And you die. You don't, your quality of life. Exactly. That's why
retire. How many people retire? They 1 year and then they gone. You didn't even get to spend the money that you.
That's why I said I want to be done by 50, because I'm like, I want to live Lord's will. I want to live some life at that age. I don't want to work for 60 years of my life and then live 3 more years and then die. Just
right.
No,
or you just
No,
you have to shift your mindset to where you're willing to then make the necessary steps now in your young age to position yourself so that you can do that, But again, you gotta get into that space to where you can not be your own worst enemy.
Right.
Where you're like, okay, I believe in myself, I have confidence, I trust God, I'm gonna move forward with the things that he's given me to do, and let that be that, and that's that.
Believe, he'll be there for you. Trust and believe. You make the left when he said go right, you gonna be all right. You'll end up.
And like you said, you can always go back to work. I never think about that. It's so simple, but I didn't think about like, what if it don't work? Go back to work. Like, that's not the end. So I never thought past what if it doesn't work. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy.
I'm telling
Yeah.
you,
This is
the
so
mindset
good.
is a serious thing. It's a
Yeah.
serious thing. And
It
so
really is.
I tell people all the time, every time you have a negative thought, like especially my daughter, she joined the Navy. She's a little older, so she's dealing with a lot of things. And I said, every time you have a negative thought, you hit it with a positive thought.
Yeah.
So you say I'm not good enough, but you know what? I am good enough because God woke me up this morning.
Absolutely.
You gotta keep, because we are programmed to be negative first.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you just have to have your arsenal.
Mhm.
There you go. As soon as that thought comes,
Like
boom.
you can't do
Nope.
that.
Yeah.
I can. Yeah.
Nope. Right?
They're
Yeah.
not gonna buy it, but
Yeah.
they are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so I think that's what we
Yeah.
have to stop thinking, oh, I'm thinking negative thoughts. I'm never going to be good. I'm always going to think negative thoughts. No, accept that negative thoughts are going to come.
Yeah.
Because
But you
when
got to
you
cast them
when you
down.
walking in your purpose, when you walking in your purpose, what does that mean? You're going to
Right.
be attacked because you're walking in your purpose. You're
Yep.
impacting lives. So you're going to always be walking and
Yep.
something's always going to be boom, trying to get you off your game.
True.
So you got to get your arsenal ready. So when them thoughts come, nope, not
Mhm.
today.
You can
Yeah.
cast them down. And you
Not
got to be
today.
mindful. You have to be mindful of the words that you're saying. Even if
Yeah.
it comes to your mind, don't you open up your mouth and say that.
Just
You
say
better
it
say the
out.
opposite.
Because there's
True.
power in the tongue.
How
That's why
to
I'm saying
speak life.
you're not stuck. You're not stuck.
Yeah.
And that's for me, that's where
true.
that why comes into place. Well, you got to reset it. You know, what I did is I recorded myself saying my why. I'm reading it. So when I'm in my car and I'm driving, I'm listening to it. So when that
play
thought
it,
comes,
yeah.
it's just still playing and I'm just the drive. Okay, God, you said it's where I got to go. You lead me. But I'm listening to myself saying my manifestation over
That's
what
good.
it is God told me.
Right.
I had to put it where I can hear it constantly, even
Mhm.
if I can't talk.
Say
I
it.
can still
Right.
hear it.
Right.
You know,
Absolutely.
so just your why, plug into that, you know, every day, make that a part of your everyday, you know, even if it's in the morning or if it's at night, just plug into it. Like for me, it's like, that's my gas pump. I'm going to get some gas because I'm running out of these negative thoughts in my head. I need a fill up, Lord. And so just plugging into your why consistently helps overcome those negative, because we're human, right?
Yeah.
We're
Right.
human. And even being in the financial world, I will say, we hit it on earlier. I heard you say we reset all the time. Finance has taught me that it's okay to start over. We buy a big house, we raise our kids, and guess what we do? We sell it because don't nobody want to clean all that mess. It's just me and him in here.
Exactly.
We're gonna downsize, we're gonna
Yeah.
reorderize, and then we're gonna keep on moving about our bit. Or maybe I don't want a house no more. Maybe I want an RV all over the world. I don't need this now. I ain't got no property tax. So life is about starting over, and it's okay.
It is.
Yeah.
It's okay.
really
We do it
is.
all the time. Embrace it, get your lesson, and keep it moving.
That's right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I would even add on there too, to make sure, I would say, connect with some like-minded thinkers. You need to be around some entrepreneurs, some people who understand, that you can talk to and just say, hey, y'all, this is what y'all think about this, or, you know, just having those conversations. That has helped me out tremendously. That's why I love my clients, because I'm like, listen, we can talk because, hey, we all doing the same thing.
True.
You know, when you talk around people that have businesses, because when you get around folks who've never done it, don't understand it.
That's my problem. Yeah, I don't have that. I don't have the circle of people
You
who do
got
what
it
I do.
now.
There you go.
Hey, girl.
I don't. So I can't talk. Everything stays in my head. I don't have nobody to talk to about it because everybody is just doing, you know, everybody's comfortable working, which is their prerogative. But I need people that that I can hear their testimony. Hey, I've tried and failed. Hey, I've reset before. I've, you know, because it's like I said, just her saying that to me, like, so what if it doesn't work? Go back to work. Like, I'm like, that sounds so simple, but I didn't think past that first thought.
Call me
And
anytime.
so if I had like one coaching thing I'm in now, they assigned us a business bestie, and I'm like, that is good for accountability because I'm an overthinker. Like I said, I always talk myself out of so much stuff because I'm like, I like to be in control. And if I know the outcome, I like knowing the outcome. I like the control of knowing how everything is going to go. Not knowing is like, that's where faith kicks in. And I've told Dr. Ross before, I've always struggled with faith. I haven't been a Christian for that long. So faith was always my struggle because from when I left my mom's house at 17, I worked, I went to school, I bought my house. Like I did everything for myself. So I didn't understand the concept of God provides everything. For me, all I know is I worked and did everything for myself. I got everything myself. So I was always dependent on me. I never had to worry about where this is coming from. How is this going to get done? Not knowing it wasn't the job anyway. It wasn't the money, it was God.
That's
so
right.
I know that now. So now my life is, I have a different view on life. So now I just got to put that with the business and be like she said, just do it. Like you'll never know until you just do it.
And I'm gonna tell you, I've had
I gotta let my mindset go like, but what about like, yeah, what about it? So, you know, just that's crazy.
It's gonna come with the relationship though. You talk about your faith, you know, as you increase your faith, it's gonna come with just having that relationship with God and thinking about the areas that he's blessed you with other outside of your business.
Definitely.
And remember,
life
he's the
and
same
health.
God. So if he did it here, then he gonna do it over here too.
With the business.
But
that's why I said I gotta connect them. I gotta connect them. Yep.
Building that relationship. This is good. This is so good.
Totally
yes. All right. So before we go, we're gonna wrap it up. But before we go, I want everybody to go around, and if you could give one piece of advice to someone who is an entrepreneur, who's thinking about becoming an entrepreneur, what piece of advice would you give them?
I would say, don't wait until everything is in a row or everything is ready and everything is your website, your name. Just do it. Just go for it, because everything else will come as you go. And I know for me, one thing that I'm still overcoming personally and in my business is perfectionism. You want it all ready and all right, but who knows what that even looks like for you?
True.
You know what I mean? People that are what they are in business, a lot of them just started.
True.
You know, they didn't. They're like, what do you mean? I don't have a license. When I started with Nicole, I was like, what's that? Okay, I need that. I didn't even know about a lot of stuff, you know, but I had already started. And I'm glad I did, because it just back to you, Ty, it builds your faith just saying, I'm just gonna do it. Right. You know what I mean? So don't look for perfectionism, because it will hold you back. It will stop you. You will start thinking other stuff. And you then a year later, you're like, dang, where could I have been had I started? Where, you know, what could have happened had I started? So just don't wait for A, B, C, and D, you know, to be ready for you, you know, or have it in a row. Just start. Everything else will come. And I felt like for me, when I started my business, it was because I felt the Lord led me to it and he gave me the idea. I just did it. Yeah. I didn't even know my name. I didn't know what to call myself. I was like, okay, you know, and as I took each step, then here go Nicole. Okay, you need this, you need that. And then it just came, you know. So whether you believe in God or not, just start. Everything else will come.
Yeah, that's good.
Good advice.
I love it. I would definitely say, know your why. Know your why for you personally. Know your why for you professionally, you know, and know your why for you if you are spiritually. And then connect those, because that is the momentum of what keeps you going on those hard days when things are hard, or when you just get sidetracked and you don't know which direction to turn or to go next, or how did I get here? You know, kind of a moment, really understanding your why, you know, personally, professionally, and spiritually. I think that's one piece of advice I would give any entrepreneur.
Well, my advice would be yourself. Don't compare. Don't express your vision to people who don't understand. And believe in yourself.
That's it. That's good.
I would just say to connect to people, something I wish I had done earlier, but I'm glad I did it now, is to connect to, like you said, like-minded people that have already found success in doing what you want to do, not necessarily in the same field, but as an entrepreneur or whatever you want to do in life, is to connect to people that have the success story, that can tell you about the hard days. Because if you talk to people who've never succeeded in it, the first time you call them, oh, I think I'm giving up. Yeah, girl, give up the business. Don't even worry about it, girl. You already got a job. You know,
right.
so, but if you talk to somebody like you guys, you're like, what? Keep going. Like don't give up. Just do it. You know, I'm like, gosh, where were they like a year ago, man? Like, because I have my mom, but
timing, honey.
I have my mom, but she's an entrepreneur, but my mom give up on stuff every other month and she starts something else. I'm like, I love my mom to death, but she's not a good example for me as far as perseverance and the good days with the bad days. And, you know, when you get to the next year at this time, I'll be looking back at these days. Like, remember when I was thinking that I couldn't give up my job, and look at me now. I don't even remember working for somebody else, or, you know, like I have a staff now or whatever. So I would just say back to the point, which was to connect with people that are like-minded and that know more than you so that you can stay motivated.
Absolutely. That's good. And I'll wrap it up and just say, utilize your resources. Don't be afraid to ask questions. If you don't know something, you know, can ask somebody who might know it, look it up. Utilize your resources, because one of the most important things, and on top of doing it, starting it, going for it, I got a book out that says, go ahead, start that business. So start it, but make sure that you get all the structure. I don't like the, you know, and anyone that I work with can tell you, I don't like it when you got Cash App coming to you. No, you need to have an actual merchant processor so you can collect payment. I don't like it when they DMing you for sales. No, let's get a website set up so that you can collect payment. And I want it to be legit. Legitimize your business, because on top of all the wonderful benefits we talked about tonight, I always think deeper, longer. And so when you can get it established and legitimized, you're able to take advantage of those grants that come out from the Small Business Administration. You're able to take advantage of lines of credit from a bank, and you're able to take advantage of getting business credit cards. So utilize your resources. If you don't know something, ask. Utilize someone such as myself as a business coach. And I'm saying myself, you don't have to use me, but use somebody who helps with businesses, because they will help hold you accountable and get you going along the right path for your business. So that's what I would say as my piece of advice. But this has been amazing. Yeah. This is a vision that God gave me, and I'm so glad, you guys, that we did this, and we're going to continuously do this I'm going to say at least a couple times a month, where we can just get on a platform, talk about the challenges of life, talk about, you know, the things of how do we balance entrepreneurship and life and illness and death in the family, and how do we make money. So we're going to do that. But thank you all so much for your willingness to join me and to just be transparent, you know, with someone else who might see this. We hope that this blesses you. We hope that you learn from our experiences. Stay tuned, because we're going to bring more. Again, we have singles pop up, couples pop up. We have Let's Ordernize with Jenelle. We have I.V.A Enterprises, and we also have Just Fedoras and Aunti Mama Sweet Spot. And of course, I am Nicole Ross with New Perspective Consulting Services. So make sure you connect with us. I'm going to put everybody's info in the bio for this video, so you'll be able to get our websites, our social media handles, all of our information. If you want to connect with any of us, we would love to hear from you. And, you know, let's maybe do some business later, or have a chat, or whatever we need to do, so we can help each other, because nobody has to do it by themselves. We're all in it together. So that's my point for tonight. So I thank you ladies so much for joining me, and thank y'all so much for watching our video, and y'all have a good night.